Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. I want to start off by saying thank you to all of our Booster Club members for your many donations and much more, your prayers. We visited faraway countries and strange lands. We've even spoken to dignitaries and were detained for spreading the glorious gospel in Cuba. The truth is that the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel were scattered throughout the world. Help us on our journey as we continue to raise up the nation of Israel. 12 tribes worldwide. Join or donate today. Shalom.
And if a kingdom be divided against itself,
if a kingdom is divided against itself,
that kingdom cannot stand.
It can't stand because guess what? Just in the religion alone, this brother might be Islam, this brother's a Christian, this person is a Catholic, this one is Pentecostal. We're divided already. One of us is from the Chinese God, one is from the Arab God, one is from the European God. We're already divided right there. It's crafty counsel, right?
2,000 years after the departure of Jesus the Christ, the prophets are back to teach the real Jews, the 12 tribes of Israel, their true nationality. This is their campaign.
We don't have any honor anymore. We've been destroyed by the media, physically through slavery, that we don't value ourselves. Now you see why we could get killed like dogs in the street on camera, and all the nations look at that and say, the cop did nothing wrong. He was absolutely right for shooting that woman in her sleep over 40-some times. Absolutely right. In fact, the wall, the nice wall that he hit, those bullets that missed, I'm going to charge him for that. How dare him hit to shoot at that wall? But killing that woman, that was perfectly okay. That's how low our value is in society. But guess what? The way we treat each other, that's why they don't respect us. Right. We kill each other more than them. Right. The way the black woman run to the abortion clinic and the black woman, they can't respect us. Right. Like, yo, they killing themselves. So what if we do it? You understand what I'm saying? But God says we got to set ourselves in order first. Marriage, it starts with marriage. Read that again.
Marriage is honorable in all.
So the way we start, we have to reintroduce honor between the man and the woman. You gotta marry, is it anybody or your own woman? Give me that Sirach 26, I think it's 20. Huh? Because today that's what I see. Interracial is being pushed heavily. God is gonna reveal to something. He never ordained interracial marriage. You marry your own woman so that your nation may be preserved. Right. That's what God says. Read that. You got it? I think it's 20.
Sirach chapter 26, verse 20. When thou hast gotten a fruitful possession.
Notice, God calls you a fruitful possession. That's what God called you. He said be fruitful and multiply. That was the first commandment, right? God calls you a fruitful possession. Remember that. You're a fruitful what? Possession. Read.
When thou hast gotten a fruitful possession through all the field, sow it with thine own seed.
Sow it with what?
With thine own seed.
I see some of y'all look confused. If a man walking down the street see a boy, he say, yo, that's my seed. What is he talking about? Huh? See, okay, we all know. God talks the same way because the men of this Bible are black. So the way we're so used to slang, that's what's going on. So when he says seed, he's talking about my son through sperm, right? Through sex. Read.
Sow it with thine own seed, trusting in the goodness of thy stock.
That's what we don't do. We do not trust in the goodness of our stock. The so-called black woman, Latin woman, Native Indian, that's the best stock on earth is what God is saying. Right. The men got to follow suit and marry their own woman because guess what? Soon as they become a ball player, an entertainer, whatever, they They run and take their money to the white community. They marry a white woman, an East Indian, a Chinese, not trusting in the goodness of their stock. That's part of the reason why our communities are not being developed. Because those that arise and make it of us, we take our money to the other nation by marrying their daughters. Y'all see what's going on in society? That's why they're pushing that interracial stuff. But God says to do what?
Trusting in the goodness of thy stock. So thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified.
So what?
Shall be magnified.
So that race?
So thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified.
Because when y'all start trusting and marrying your own sisters, our race is going to be magnified. Because we're going to start getting all the good father figures now. In the black and Latin community, not running to the white community and marrying their women, or the Chinese community. They're going to be here, so our race will what?
So thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified.
We're going to become greater, because think about it. If all those millionaires married their own sister, right, and build up their community, our race is going to start elevating, slowly but surely, right? But when you continue to take all those funds out of the community, we're always going to be financially on the bottom.
Right.
You understand that? So it's very important. So that's why it starts with marriage. And remember, sis, it said possession. Give me Mark 3:24. It says possession, right? Because guess what? The first thing our enemies did, they understand. Our nation is built on family structure. So what they did, they removed the men. God is going to reveal it to you. Why? Because this Bible is only for the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Our oppressors got this because they had to learn about us to destroy us and keep us destroyed. They know keep the man and the woman separate. Our nation divided shall always fall. It's never going to grow, right? Read that.
Mark chapter 3 verse 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself.
This is what they know, why they keep us divided. Because through the program of WIC, the man can't be in the house. Women, infant, children, they pulled the man out of the house. But God is going to reveal to you what they were really doing. Because WIC was a version of crafty counsel. They're dealing crafty with us. They're trying to destroy us, but they say it's a good thing. But they're really, the intentions are to destroy us. Read.
That kingdom cannot stand.
Read it from the top.
And if a kingdom be divided against itself.
If a kingdom is divided against itself, read.
That kingdom cannot stand.
It can't stand because guess what? Just in the religion alone. This brother might be Islam, this brother's a Christian, this person is a Catholic, this one is Pentecostal. We're divided already. One of us is following the Chinese God, one is following the Arab God, one is following the European God. We're already divided right there. It's crafty counsel. Right.
And if a house be divided against itself.
Now, if a house be divided against itself. My brother, I'm getting to the point. Let me finish this one right here, Gad. This is for you. Because if you walk off, nothing is going to change. You're going to be like, yo, I heard the brother saying something, but I didn't listen to get the point. I walked away. You have children, right? Bro, you got to take this back to them. All right? Read.
And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand.
That's why our house don't stand. It's destroyed. Read.
And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand.
Even Satan, as he was divided against himself, he will fail, right? But here's the point. Read.
But hath an end. No man can enter into a strong man's house.
Listen good. This is why they removed the men from the household. Read.
No man can enter into a strong man's house.
You hear what God says? No man can enter into a strong man's house. Because a strong man is going to do what? Defend his house. Right? Read.
Right. And spoil his goods.
And do what? It's what? It's good. Because God says you're a fruitful possession. So that's what they did. They removed the strong man out of the household, put him in jail, and guess what? They spoiled the woman. And from the woman being spoiled, the children are spoiled. Right. That's why you see all these gang members running around here. Because they're fatherless children. You know what I'm saying? It was a systematic attack. Right. Read it.
No man can enter into a strong man's house.
So this is what you got to learn. Take hold. Nobody can destroy your house unless what?
And spoil his goods. Except he will first bind the strong man.
They got to destroy you. They got to take you out the picture. You out the picture. The man must be destroyed first before they can spoil his family.
Right.
Read.
And then he will spoil his house.
After he conquered the men, then he spoils the family. That's what happened because most of our men are where right now? Where are most of the men of our society at? Even in Isaiah 42. They're where?
Where is it?
Says, you know God records that? Because God is behind everything that's going on. But he's allowing it because we're rebellious to keeping his laws.
Right.
We don't want to keep God's laws.
Right.
And that's what I'm going to bring out next. Read. I think it's 42:21. 42:22.
Isaiah chapter 42, verse 22.
Let's see if God's word fit the prophecy today. Read.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
Why are we robbed and spoiled? Because they destroyed the strong man. Right? They took him out the household. And then they were able to destroy the families. God is going to reveal that. Read.
They are all of them snared in holes.
Sister, don't get distracted. God says we're all snared in holes, meaning traps. Religion is a trap. Right? The fashions that we wear is a trap. Our dietary, eating pork, shrimp, lobster, is a trap. Every facet in society outside of God's wisdom is a trap. Because we, the nation of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the children of the slave trade, we were supposed to be following God.
Right.
Slave came upon us as a judgment from God for rebellion. Right. That's why that happened. But read.
And they are hid in prison houses.
Where are the men of God, people?
Hid in prison houses.
That's what they did. They set the war on drugs. What was the frisk thing back in the 90s? Stop and frisk. That's why they did those things. To take the strong man out of the household. God is revealing you what happened. Read.
They are for a prey, and none delivereth.
We are for a prey. This is why we're getting shot in the street like dogs on camera, and the judges are looking at them and saying, they shot this guy 42 times without a weapon or anything like that. You know what? They did nothing wrong because we are a prey. That's what you got to understand. We are lamb for the slaughter. We are lamb for the slaughter. That's what we are. We are being preyed upon by all these nations. Why? Because they are our enemies, but we don't know that. Because we were taught, no, love everybody but ourselves. Because if your brother stepped in your shoe, I seen people get killed overstepping on the shoe, stabbed up and all that. Because I'm from these hoods, man. I grew up in Brooklyn. I seen a lot in the 90s when I came here. And I'm from South America. I'm from a deeper hell. You understand what I'm saying? But when I came here, I'm like, damn, it's worse here. Read.
For a spoil, and none saith restore.
Nobody's safe, restore. That's why we got to stop voting. Because you are trusting on an oppressive system to free yourself. That makes no sense. Why would you go vote in a racist system for liberation? God says we got to work for ourselves. We got to deliver ourselves, starting with the men. Y'all get yourself in order and then restore the family structure under the laws of God. And that's how we're going to grow as a nation. Read.
Who among you will give ear to this?
Listen good, brother. Wow, you said Cleveland? This is the point. Read.
Who among you will give ear to this?
God says, who among you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians is going to listen to this? Is going to listen to my warning? Read.
Who will hearken and hear for the time to come?
Who is going to listen for the judgment and repentance that's coming out right now? Who is going to take heed to the warning of God? Because destruction is coming. Who is going to listen and bring forth the change? Is that going to be you, Cleveland? Is that going to be you, Lewis? What's your name again, sister? Mima? Are you going to listen and bring change? Because guess what? You can either destroy the next generation or help build them up.
Right.
That's what's at stake. Read that at the top of that verse again.
Who among you will give ear to this?
Because check this out. A lot of people are walking by not listening, but the three of you stop. So God says, who among you will listen to this? Will listen to the curses, the judgment of the men being in jail, our family being destroyed. Why? By a systematic attack. Let's move the men out of the household because that's a strong man. Because for us to spoil the possession, the family, we got to get the strong man out of the household first. Let's introduce WIC, women, infant, children. Let's send the dudes and the men in jail on the drugs or stop and frisk, plant drugs on them. That's what was going on. But the goal was to destroy you. Read.
Who will hearken and hear for the time to come?
So who's going to hearken for the time to come? Because guess what? Destruction is coming. We are out here to restore our people. How? Not by bearing arms. Our restoration is simple. Give me Proverbs 13:34. My sister, for us to be restored to our greatness is not grabbing weapons and all that. It's a spiritual war. Right. My brother Lewis, it's a spiritual war. Cleveland, it's a spiritual war. Read that.
Proverbs chapter 14. Verse 32.
So Cleveland, this is how we're going to rebuild ourselves, restore ourselves to greatness.
The wicked is driven away in his wickedness. 14 verse 34. Righteousness exalteth a nation.
God says righteousness is what's going to exalt us. Do you know what righteousness is? What is righteousness, brother?
Having faith.
Having what?
Having faith.
Cleveland said having faith. Lewis, what is righteousness?
Righteousness is good, doing good, following the Lord's commandments.
He said, good, following the Lord's commandments. I like that, Lewis. Sister, what do you think righteousness is? Now check this out. You're 26, right? Hades destroyed. Hades means hell, right? Hades destroyed. And all those religions out there, they never taught people why things, how to restore it according to God. Does that make sense? That's crazy, right? Because it's not of God. Satan rules all those religions. It's meant to keep you destroyed and deceived. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 25.
So we're going to read what is this righteousness that's going to restore the so-called Haitians to the glorious tribe of Levi and rule this world. We're going to learn what righteousness is, Lewis, that's going to restore the so-called Puerto Ricans back to the stature of Ephraimites ruling this world. Right. My brother Gad, Cleveland, we're going to learn what is going to restore the Gadites that's on reservations suffering to the rightful rulership as the tribe of Gad of the nation of Israel.
Right.
Read.
And it shall be our righteousness.
It shall be our righteousness, because this Bible was not given to all nations. I'm going to bring it out next. This is our book. This is our heritage. Gad, this book, my boy Cleveland, my brother, this is your heritage. The Lord said today is your heritage. This was not for all nations. The other nations know God isn't dealing with them. That's the root of their hatred towards us. That's why universally they're all unified in oppressing and keeping us down. That's the answer.
Right. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe.
Cleveland, it's our righteousness if we observe, meaning pay attention, learn, read.
To do all these commandments.
Cleveland, I think you missed it, Cleveland. What are we supposed to observe and do? See, because Satan came and looked away for a second. I'm going to read it again. It's very important you catch this. Pay attention.
If we observe to do all these commandments.
You see what we must do? We must observe and do all these commandments, because this is what God gives. Give me Deuteronomy 10 and 12 real quick. Because Cleveland, when God created you, right? Lewis, when God created you, and you said Gigi, what's your name again, sis? Mimi. When God created you, this is the purpose. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12. And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee?
Notice he said Israel. He didn't say, and now all nations, what does God require of you? He said Israel. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's the only nation God is dealing with. Hold that, give me Joel 2:27. I want you to understand this. There's only one nation that are considered the children of God. We're going to read that to you right now, okay? Not all nations. That's falsehood of religion. Satan created and instituted religion to keep us deceived, right? Because this is not meant for everybody to follow. Only a few will repent and learn the true understanding of God, Gigi.
Right.
Or Mimi, I'm sorry, Mimi, I keep saying Gigi. Read.
Joel chapter 2, verse 27. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel.
I'm among that nation Israel again.
And that I am the Lord your God, and none else.
He said, I'm the God of Israel and none else. Mimi, what does that mean?
Over here, one night.
You have a boyfriend? You have a father? You don't have a father. Come on, how'd you get here? You have a mother. Okay, let's just, you got a mother, right?
Yeah.
Good. So your mother is you have siblings? Yeah. How many? 4. So what's your mom's name?
Marie.
So Marie is the mother of 4 children and nobody else, right?
Yes.
What does that mean? Can I say, hey, no, she's my mother too?
No.
Because she's the mother of just 4 children, right? So read that again.
Joel 2:27. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and none else.
I am the Lord your God and none else. What does that mean? God is the God of who? And none else. He literally means that.
Right.
That's the root of all the hatred towards our people. Because we are the people of God. The nations know that. You got that? I'll go back to where he was at. So, God created us for a reason, right? Now, y'all look confused. Cleveland, did you hear that before? Notice, there's many gods in the world, right? Do you know why there's many gods in the world? Hold that, give me Psalms 96 verse 5. Because God says he's the God of Israel and none else, right? So if the other nations understand that, they believe that, that's why he created. The Chinese say, you know what? The one true God ain't dealing with us. We're going to create a fat guy called Buddha. The East Indians saying, wow, whoa, he don't accept us. I'm going to go create a lady with 24 arms that look Indian with a dot on her forehead. Call her Vishnu. You understand what I'm saying? The Arabs say, I'm going to go create my own God and call him Allah. That's what happened, and the Bible's going to reveal that. Read.
Psalms 96, verse 5. For all the gods of the nations are idols.
You see that? The gods of the nation are idols. Buddha ain't saving nobody from death.
Right.
Allah ain't saving nobody from death.
Right.
But they created that because they understand God is not their God. The living God is not their God.
Right.
He created them, but he's not dealing with them. He said, the nation of Israel, I am your God and none else.
That's right.
Plain English. But what does church say? We're all the children of God. All nations come together. You know in Genesis God was against that? Give me Genesis 11. Tower of Babel. I'm going to show you that. Because all nations coming together, we're going to find out what the one true God says about all nations come together. Because again, we are destroyed because we lack knowledge. The reason is all this chaos and stuff because we're not meant to come together.
Right.
We're not. Read.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 6. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one.
What did God say?
Behold, the people is one.
God says all the nations are one. They're all together. They're all living and intermingling, sharing with culture and customs with one another. They're on one accord. Let's see if God says, man, I am so pleased with my creations. This is a beautiful thing they did. Let's see what the Bible says. Read.
And they have all one language.
They have one language. They speak the same language back then. So you're going to see why there's multiple languages today too, as per God. Read.
And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them.
You hear what God says? When all nations come together, nothing will be restrained from them as far as wickedness. That's why there's how many sexualities today? There's a lot. Thousands. Why? Because nothing is restrained. Whatever they think in their mind, you know what? I think I'm a dog. Yeah, I'm a dog. You need to accept me as a dog. Roof, roof. You understand what I'm saying? It's showing you what happens when we come together. Foolishness. Read.
Which they have imagined to do.
So anything they imagine, you know what? I think I'm a guy and a girl. Yeah, I'm no longer just a male or female, I'm both. And you gotta accept me as such. Nothing is out of their mind. Whatever they imagine, that they will do. Read.
Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language.
He said, let's go down there and separate them by languages. Let them not understand each other, no, meaning scatter them. You understand?
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.